I wish I knew how to quit you.
Then why don't you?
You're listening to Codependent Content, the podcast where we discuss the TV shows, movies, books, and video games in which we share an unhealthy relationship.
My father was a rancher. I always knew when the quotas had gone up because on those days he'd beat me.
My story's sad, I think.
My name is Mattias. Join us as we try to unravel the characters, stories, and worlds that we are entangled with. Because just when we think we're done with content, it draws us back in. Welcome back to Codependent Content. My name is Mattias Marasigan, and I'm joined today by...
Hi, my name's Morgan Mayer.
Hi, Morgan. How's it going?
Good.
This week we are talking about Foundation Season 3, Episode 8, Skin in the Game. As usual, everyone, if you haven't been paying attention, if this is your first time joining us on the podcast, you have no idea what we're doing. We talk about content. We're talking about Foundation. We will spoil the show. Spoilers beware. Up until this point, we do not know what's going to happen. We have not read the books, so we do not know about future events. That said, we do a lot of speculation, and there have been theories that we've been floating around for a while. So, you know, if you haven't been paying attention, then you might maybe get spoiled, but it's only speculation. It's only theories. So hopefully you are caught up on all that. Hopefully you're caught up on the season. You should go watch if you haven't, if this is your first time for some reason. And if this is not your first time and you've been joining us and along for the ride, welcome back.
Hey, thanks.
Glad to see you. It was so much fun. Quick thing, Morgan, before we get into the episode. We have news from Marvel production on the X-Men property. I don't think they said movie.
I don't know this. This is news to me.
I don't think they said movie, but they did say, but I'm hoping it's a show, even though the shows have been kind of like, how they've been doing it, right? In terms of whether or not they consider it canon. It started production. And by that, I mean, it's probably started pre-production.
Yeah.
So X-Men are in earnest, moving ahead with the director of Thunderbolts. Did you see Thunderbolts?
I did see Thunderbolts.
Did you like Thunderbolts?
I did.
Apparently, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the director did such a good job with handling the dynamics of dysfunctional family, so to speak, that they decided he would be really good for X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my favorite part about Thunderbolts was that I'm like, oh, cool. It's a superhero movie that also is talking about mental health.
Yes, I did love that.
And I was like, that was the thing that felt freshest to me about that movie.
It almost seems like we've even made jokes on the podcast, like, oh, defeat the bad guy with a hug. And that's almost literally what they do.
Because it turns out maybe he's not even a bad guy.
Maybe he's not even a bad guy.
He just needs a hug.
Me and my sibling were having talks about whether or not Sentry, clearly he's in Doomsday. The after credit sequence in Thunderbolts was directed by the Russos. I think it is just a scene from the movie Avengers Doomsday.
Oh, okay.
I think so. Clearly he's there, but Sentry is the most powerful person ever. But will he ever show up? Will he actually show up in Doomsday? And we were kind of arguing about, well, he's in it, but he's not in it. Because that's the whole point is he can't he's the good guy has to, Bob, right? Yeah. Robert, can't bring out the Sentry guy because the Void comes out and it would be very, very bad for everyone. So he has to just remain normal.
Let's just be Bob.
So it'll be interesting to see whether or not
I have opinions on this though, because it's like I know exactly what you mean, but I'm also like the whole we talk about Chekhov's gun sometimes on the show, and I'm like, can you really have him there and never let him take his form? Or whatever?
That's the thing is the Russos are very much in charge of this, and the reason why they are here is because you would have to handle a bunch of different characters and to figure out what the how do we get people in there? How do we give everyone their equal opportunity, their time? it's still possible they might just sideline that character or whatever. But there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people coming up, and I don't know if so. Not speaking of X-Men and Doomsday, I'm assuming you did see the casting announcement for Doomsday.
No.
Or who's going to be in the movie?
No.
So the all the original X-Men actors are coming back.
Whoa.
We're talking about Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, James Marsden, Hugh Jackman are all in this movie.
Holy cow.
It's multiversal thing.
Good job.
And, Doomsday and I believe Secret Wars are going to essentially reset parts of the cinematic universe, so to speak. So they're not coming on for like multiple movies. They're going to come on for maybe Doomsday, maybe Secret Wars, and then go. So that said, we don't know who our new X-Men are going to be yet. I don't think casting has happened. I don't know if it's definitely not going to happen on Doomsday unless they introduce maybe one or two characters. I'm sure they possibly could introduce at least a Professor X or a Magneto and just keep it as that.
Sure.
The other rumors is that this will be a teenage cast for the X-Men, so like a first class kind of situation.
Yeah.
That said, Morgan, my main question is, do you have an ideal like X-Men team for a first class? Are you a fan of X-Men?
Yeah, I like the X-Men.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm being totally honest, if I only got one, I just want Channing Tatum to come back and be Gambit again.
No, he is. Is he in Doomsday? Okay.
That's what I
not
want.
For the official. I think he would be too old at this point to continue on the MCU as Gambit if he's running around with teenagers. Though he did do it in 21 Jump Street, so I guess
he's kind of got the Paul Rudd thing a little bit, where he's a little ageless. I think he's been 31 for 22 years. But man, I don't know, man. I haven't thought about this at all. Why? Do you have someone in mind for roles?
You mean casting wise?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about casting wise. I think that would be
Just
too much to think about. Though I will say, as much as it always, there are these actors and actresses that are like in popularity right now that always get fan casted as things all the time.
Yeah.
And I will say, like Austin Butler as Gambit, new Gambit, does intrigue me.
We know he loves his accents.
And Margaret Qualley as Rogue. Also, like that kind of like was an intriguing pairing.
Yeah, that's cool.
But just more so, like, what would be your first class? Like, what's your team? Who needs to be included in the original X-Men? Maybe five X-Men that you'd be really into.
I don't have any hot takes on this one. I think that I do think you need Wolverine. I do think you need Storm, Jean Grey.
I don't think you need Wolverine right away. I think you can hold off on Wolverine, because from what I recall of my version of X-Men was Wolverine comes in like later, right? I need to see the team getting along before Wolverine comes and disrupts that.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't mind if they hold off on Wolverine, especially because we've had Hugh Jackman for so long. I'm sure they're still going to cast someone.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Daniel Radcliffe casting?
No.
Rumors for Wolverine.
Daniel
Radcliffe. I think the two front runners are Daniel Radcliffe and Taron Egerton.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there's like a video of Daniel Radcliffe in whatever that show is that he's doing, where he's an angel.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the name of it right now, but there's a behind the scenes clip of him like going crazy, like in a gladiatorial stadium, pulls off his shirt. He like does like a whole flexing, like yelling thing, and then like runs after a guy like with crazy eyes, and it works. If you imagine that was Wolverine, Daniel Radcliffe, he's really good at doing crazy random characters nowadays. He's made quite a career for himself, and I can see him and he was a fit too.
Yeah.
Looks like he'd been working out or whatever, He's I think he would be ready to go. And not canonically. I don't know if you can get a canonically short Wolverine.
Yeah.
I think that would just be, I don't know if anyone's doing that.
Yeah.
But Daniel's at least shorter.
He's definitely not like 6'2" or something. Well, he's probably like 5'10", 5'9".
Yeah, he's not the size. Hugh Jackman is like is like 6 whatever.
Yeah. Dude, I will say the kid in me also wants a big guy. So either, not for Wolverine, but like as part of the squad, like I want there to be either like Colossus, or a Beast. Like, because that's what like my favorite champs were like when I was a kid. I'd play like that like 5-player X-Men side scroller. I always wanted to be Colossus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought he was cool. And like they've had Colossus in all these X-Men movies. He's never had more than 2 lines to be like, I'm huge. And that's kind of it. So.
I will say there's something about X2, as much as we don't like Bryan Singer here, really good job on that. The Xavier mansion getting taken over.
Yeah.
And then you get Colossus just taking care of children.
Yeah.
You know?
It's cool.
And does some really cool things without any lines. How I was really disappointed in X3, especially that you have Colossus and Juggernaut in the same movie and they didn't even look at each other. There was no nothing. I was like, this is the most disappointing thing ever. But that's that's my thing from like a long time ago.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's X2, but like the best part of that movie is the first 2 minutes when Nightcrawler's just poofing around the White
absolutely.
House.
Yeah.
And it's like such a cool character. And also I don't know if we're ever going to top Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends. I think they could. I mean, honestly, the First Class and Days of Future Past group of people, I thought was great casting for the younger X-Men. You know, I do think that, say, like, they did have Beast and Nicholas Hoult, but I do think that Beast should have been older. You know, he felt like more of like part of the First Class as opposed to like Xavier's age. I mean, they were kind of around the same age. It was the difference between professor and student, you know, was like kind of not the difference wasn't quite there. And that's what I really want. I really just want a TV show. That's what I'm hoping for, is that they're doing a show where they're just focusing on school stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and like letting these let us deal with professors and students and relationships and family dynamics and all those kinds of things. So I will say my point was I did like the newer cast, and I thought like Cody Smith-McGee did really good as the Nightcrawler. Wasn't quite on par with Alan Cumming, but Alan Cumming's that was just a really well done series of movies with Alan Cumming, right? Mm-hmm. I think that it's going to be hard to top the casting no matter what you do. But these are also going to be very desirable roles, right?
Yeah.
What I want to see is justice for Cyclops.
Yeah.
As much as James Marsden is finally getting his due respect for the amount of work that he's done like over the years, when they were doing Cyclops, no one cared. And I was like, Cyclops is my favorite character. Okay. And everyone just hated him because they just loved Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, this one didn't give him a lot.
Yeah.
They definitely made him kind of like the whatever guy because Hugh's plot line was like so central.
Yeah.
So.
And I think also Ben Foster was wasted as Angel, and hopefully, and then even when they introduced Angel and Apocalypse, they just like don't do very well with that. Yeah. So I think if you're gonna do, and they're probably going to do like a First Class, I want to see like Cyclops, Jean Grey, Angel, Iceman.
Oh.
And who would be the fifth? Rogue, I guess. You know, would be a great like starting lineup for the crew. I love Jubilee, obviously from the animated series and stuff, and I think that she needs to come back in some way, but probably not like the core, like leaders of the group thing.
That makes sense to me.
But yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to figure out how we can. We've done X-Men so much at this point.
Yeah,
it's hard to know if we've done it right or not until they come and do it, and we'll see if they're able to do better about it.
I agree. I think that is the thing, is that we've just seen the same actors grow through these roles for so long that it's like it's going to take a little bit of reimagining, and we're all going to be like, what do you mean Wolverine's not Hugh Jackman? Mm-hmm. This guy looks nothing like him. It's like, you got to give him a shot. They got to be able to reboot it at some point.
I feel like we're beyond that point where I forgot Storm. Storm needs to be a part of it.
I think Storm needs to be part of it.
I hopefully we're beyond this idea that like we can cast people and not be judgmental until we've seen them in the thing, right? Because this happens every time. It's like we're so hung up on a character and we're like, don't. No one could ever top this thing. They did it with Heath Ledger and the Joker. They keep doing it with like every Superman. Every Batman.
Batman's the big one for me.
It's like just allow the character to take on their role. And also at this point, like Hugh Jackman, as the joke was made, he's going to be doing this he's been doing this for a long time. Yeah. Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, they need to be done with these roles to stop bringing them back. Like, I think that we need to move on from this group of guys. Cause as much as I love them and they were great in the roles, they're getting to the point where I feel bad because they're so old now, and I don't want to see like old men just running around in tights trying to like relive like these like glory days. I think they're great actors, and I'm sure, and I can't wait to see them all in Doomsday, but they need a break.
Let them die.
We need a new generation here. Sure. We need to let people come up, and hopefully. Marvel's usually pretty good at casting, so I usually trust them. Yeah. And we might have some really out there, really cool ones. I think I forget the two, but the idea of Giancarlo Esposito as Professor Xavier, and I don't know if it was Idris Elba as Magneto.
That's pretty sick.
It was some other actor. I'm trying to. Maybe it was Denzel Washington. I don't know.
I don't know if Denzel would ever do X-Men. I think Idris would.
Can you imagine though? Can you imagine Denzel?
I mean, if I'm being honest, it's a little tough.
Actually, Idris Elba is already in the MCU. He can't do that. There was someone else then. I forget. At this point, all the actors have been in it. So who else can we have?
There's a lot of actors.
There's a lot of actors. Okay. That's a lot of talk about X-Men that I probably won't do anything with. I'm not exactly sure. It was just like a lot of fun I like to talk about X-Men. I hope it's good. It's one of my favorite things. And honestly, if they did X-Men and no other Marvel thing and just not connected it, I would be so fucking happy. If they do it right. So I think let's get into our talking about Foundation, which is what everyone's here for. We all saw the episode again, season 3, episode 8, Skin in the Game. General thoughts on the episode, Morgan? Any general thoughts? Any feelings?
It was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah, no, I don't have huge big feels. I get
any major questions or answers that from last episode that kind of helped came up here or whatever that was like.
No, I mean, like I think we moved slowly again in a lot of our plot lines.
Yeah.
In a way that I was kind of like, oh, I want more. But yeah, I don't know. We'll get to it, but I get to say I called it once or twice.
Sure.
But
I may give you one. I don't know if I'll give you two, Morgan.
Yeah.
Would you take this or would you take, I think it was our other unfavorite one was Where Tyrants Spend Eternity, but that was a good episode. I'm trying to think of the other bad one. I think it was just mostly that one.
5, I think. Where like
that's Where Tyrants Spend Eternity.
Yeah. It was like it's the episode whatever when the thing I remember the most is like the end of episode 4, I believe, is like Day murdering his guard / accomplice friend, ditching his nanites and going off into the abyss. And then episode 5 is like, and people are still going places. And this episode felt a little similar to that, where I was just like, oh, we're still just like weaving web instead of actually showing us how far it's going to stretch out or whatever. And yeah.
But overall, again, would this one or the last one, which one would you take?
I don't know.
I think this one so far is the worst of the bunch.
Yeah.
If I were to take, you could probably easily skip this one for me.
Yeah.
There are some decent revelations and things that happen, but this could have been condensed into some other episodes. You know, I think it's a lot of telling and not showing. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talking this episode, and not a whole lot of action or things.
Yeah.
And the things that do happen kind of feel like, what? Why? But yeah. I will say, starting here and coming from the last episode, a lot of things that I was thinking, I'm still unsure of what Dusk is. I'm drawing back a little in terms of like him losing his mind, you know. I kind of got a little crazy with saying like, oh, he's making up things, you know, but clearly Quint is there. And I mean, no one addressed the ferret still. So, you know, just kind of, you know,
someone had to clean
happened,
that up.
Right? No payoff to any of that kind of stuff or what actually is going on with Dusk. I mean, he's still everything that we have been saying as far as him taking control and doing all that stuff and wanting to be Empire again or whatever. It seems to be kind of there, but nothing else really new, right?
Yeah.
I was doing clips and re-looking at the dream thing, and a lot of things I was saying there. I was like, I'm unsure of, but I think what became more clear this episode based on last week is how much Day has suddenly empathized and finally empathized with Demerzel to the point where he clearly does want to free her. Right, that his new goal is to get her to escape her cage.
Yeah,
you know. And I looked at that part where I thought that he was seeing the future of Demerzel. I didn't realize that she was actually just looking into her mirror. Looking back on it, it's like it's her mirror thing, right? And so it is like two versions of her. And one of the cool things about that is possibly Day was with the version of her that was trapped inside of her, right? Looking and like viewing her life very much like the mule viewing his life from a different perspective, you know? So, which who knows, maybe that is also how the mentalic takes over, you know, whenever you take them over, like does a part of you kind of split off and kind of become trapped within you or whatever. So yeah, seeing just how much that she was trapped within the Empire genetic dynasty, trapped within her own directive, trapped within everything, I think really kind of radicalized and, or radically empathized, I guess, Day to Demerzel.
Yeah.
Which is all what I think that whole dream thing was about, which is very interesting. I don't know why he needed, and I say dream, it was a drug, it wasn't it was like a drug trip vision thing.
Yeah, he took mushroom tea.
He took some drugs. Need empathy, I guess. Take some drugs. Yeah. And I'm trying to think if there's any other lingering questions from last week or things that we said that were kind of off or wrong, but yeah, who knows? We'll see. There's still, I think, a lot of things unanswered, and we don't really know. So, but it's all there. Sad day. All the characters. This is one of the episodes where like everyone kind of gets a little bit. You know, usually we take a break from most characters, and I think maybe Morgan, for me, maybe for you as well, our two favorite characters nowhere to be seen.
Well, they were not.
Han and Torin, not here, not in the running for crush of the episode, unfortunately, because they can't.
I will also say too, while we're talking about who's not here, and I agree. But,
this is my first note.
Mr. Magnifico is just woefully like absent in a way where I'm like, that's two in a row now.
Two in a row, and the third episode where we're going to be asking, where is Magnifico?
Right. And I think like the reason that I'm bummed out about it now is because I'm like, okay, he either really doesn't matter at all.
Yes.
And I'm like, why has there been this whole red herring within the red herring?
Sure.
Or
if
he turns really matters, in which case I'm like, guys, come on. Don't do this to me. If he's going to end up being the real Mule, if he's going to be the big bad of the season, can't just disappear him for 3 episodes. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I think it's more evidence that he's important, the fact that he's gone, and we haven't talked about where he is. The Mule hasn't been looking for him. He has Bayta for some reason, which we'll get to, and I'm like, I guess because she took Magnifico, but no one asked her why. Where is Magnifico? Like he's not interrogating her, and I'm like, what other reason do you have? And I don't know why, right? But I would assume it has to do with Magnifico, but he doesn't even get it mentioned.
Maybe the Mule just hates influencers. I don't know, man.
I don't know what's going on there. We'll get to it, but yeah, multiple characters missing. Sad day, but we get a lot of characters this episode. So we'll see by the end of this who will win our crush of the episode. Morgan, let's dive in. Let's start in the beginning where we left off last week. The Mule is talking to Hari Seldon, or as he likes to say, Hariton.
Or a holographic AI of Hari Seldon.
It sure is. Which I have a question that just always bothers me when I see this kind of thing in science fiction. We have an AI version, technically immortal, technically can live as long as it wants version of you. Why choose the older version of you?
Yeah.
Like, why not choose? You could choose any image at that point, right? Does it have to be, right? Why not say like, oh, put myself in the young prime of my 24, whatever life, right? Why do that?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I know for our purposes, because it's like, well, we like the actor. We want to keep using the same actor because he is one of the best actors.
Yeah, he's great
of this generation, right? But I don't know. If I were an AI version of me, I probably wouldn't choose, especially as I get older. I'm definitely not choosing the version of whatever my sad, old, decrepit body is going to be. Not saying this actor looks like that. Don't want to put that out there or whatever. But me personally, I know my body's not going to be in its best shape. It's probably going to be worn down. It's like,
nobody's is. Look, why is he 60? He could be 27.
Everyone else gets to have their shirt off in this show.
Wow.
And Hari,
I didn't think that's where we're going.
Give myself a 6-pack, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then show it off.
Yeah. How many more seasons of the show are we going to do before we see Hari Seldon's abs?
Do you know what I'm saying? Right?
I do.
Why
very
not?
Very much, yes.
Because if I were an AI version of myself and I could, I would.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Have I ever had a 6-pack in my life? I'm not even sure.
There's one way to find out.
But an AI version of me, it's going to have a 6-pack.
Yeah. Pumping a lot of electronic iron.
It's going to be Brad Pitt in his prime.
Fight Club, Troy. Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking Snatch.
Snatch, hell yeah, dude.
The one where you could do subtitles for Mickey only, which is the character he plays.
Oh, what a character, dude. He's so good in that movie.
Didn't think you'd get a Snatch reference here in 2025, but yet here we are.
That movie goes hard.
Why do we not have, we have also CGI. Why can't we've CGI'd young Brad Pitt onto people's faces before.
Yeah.
Why not just why don't we have Snatch version of Brad Pitt? Why don't we have Mickey as our Hari Seldon?
Why isn't Hari Seldon Mickey from Snatch?
This is what AI should be doing.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, moving on. The Mule and Hari are having their,
heart to heart.
What is it? Tit for tat.
Yeah.
Their little battle of wits, so to speak. I kind of love this. This is my honestly highlight of the episode, and we're starting strong. But we're not ever going to get back here, I don't think. He hears the story. One thing we do hear from Hari is that he doesn't dictate policy anymore. Which sounds like an excuse right off the bat. He's just trying to tell the Mule, like, hey, whatever happened to you had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And he does know about the quotas. He does know about what Foundation is doing. I notice he doesn't deny Foundation's part in what happened.
Correct.
Mostly to say that while we are unsure of the reliability of the story and where the Mule is, maybe whether something's being projected onto him, whether it is his story, all those kind of things, at least the part of the Foundation, I guess, essentially implying that one of your children should die.
Yeah.
And taking from people these quotas is maybe true.
Yeah.
Foundation is still not great here, and Hari knows it. But Hari, as usual, is one of those, do what you can for the greater good kind of things. That's the whole point of the plan, right? Selden's plan is how do we're going to be in a dark age. We're just trying to shorten it.
Yeah.
But Hari just makes excuses. He's just that kind of guy. Really interested in like this Hari, whatever we want to call him, Vault Hari.
Hollow Hari.
Is he does ring a little hollow, and a little evil, if I'm being honest.
Ooh.
And we'll see. He's not quite the same Hari that I feel like we've come to know and root for.
Yeah.
By the end of this scene, right? My favorite line here is when the Mule says, my story is sadder, I think.
Yeah. The Mule might need a hug.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I do think this is like one of the biggest points of analytical criticism that I can bring into this episode or this series. From this like one line, it's a joke. It made me laugh, but it's also interesting because, we get insight a little bit into how nonchalantly he says this, right? Into the way that he does think about life and everything. And I think about this cycle of victimhood, how we're always trying to one up people. Yeah. I think you've met people. I know I've met people. They tend to wear their trauma like a badge of honor.
Or like trauma's a competition.
Yeah. It almost feels like we're using it as like a weapon. We're defined by our trauma, that it becomes so much part of our identity that we use it like against others, or use it as an excuse, as a way to explain like why we are the way we are,
Yeah.
And it's true. Hari probably had his own version of trauma. The Mule has his version of trauma. And is it a competition? Like who's worse? And maybe one is worse than the other, but what does that matter? Right? I've joked on the podcast before, maybe before you've joined, but we've kind of mentioned it multiple times. Childhood trauma is not an uncommon thing. This is very much, I think everyone has childhood trauma, whether you consider it trauma in the true definition of the sense of trauma, or whether it's just our childhoods fucked us up in a lot of ways, right? That does define us. And we tend to, especially in media, focus a lot on childhood trauma. It becomes a thing that obviously defines these characters, because that's where it comes from. Whenever we go to therapy, we talk about what was our childhood like.
Yeah.
This is the starting point for everyone. So it's not new. So to say you have trauma is like saying, yeah, sure, fish swim.
Yeah.
Not to minimize anyone's trauma, but to be fair, that is literally, we all have it.
100%.
And so we see how both of these characters have dealt with that trauma. And one, does that justify the actions of the mule? Just because of whatever happened, he had to deal with the same quotas as everyone else, but then he became, revengeful and has, and cruel, as he mentions later on in the episode. Mm-hmm. And Hari has fought for changing that, even though he can't change it for everyone. Clearly, he still has to do his quotas, but he's, at the end of the day, it's like government's got a government, things got to happen. It's hard to run anything, but it is for some sort of greater good. I'm not saying I always agree with Hari, but there is two different aspects of how you can go about things, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I think, I just pointed out because I think we tend to do this a lot, and we tend to wear this trauma on our sleeves, and we tend to, it's a badge of honor. It's a thing that we identify with, and yet it dictates how we go about life. And really, it should be some sort of lesson for you. It should be some sort of identity, but it doesn't justify, doing bad things or wielding it as a weapon. Using trauma to cause trauma to other people is not a great thing ever.
We can agree on that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think his story is sadder.
From what I know. Yeah. From at least from what we've been given, I don't think he's stretching it. Mm-hmm. The thing about this scene that fascinated me the most was I think Hari at some point is just you have a secret or whatever. And I'm like, whoa, what's the fucking secret?
Magnifico.
Yeah. Is that
I think that's it. But I think the secret is he doesn't know. He's I kind of believe parts of your story. Yeah. But there's something else that I don't believe, and that's where I'm stuck. He's as everyone else has pointed out, Hari's actually very smart and is able to pick up on things when no one else can.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the part where I was well, we've all been thinking it's something with Magnifico for 8 episodes now. Yeah. Tell me the secret. Ostensibly, we only got 2 more episodes left. Yeah. I was this is cool. Yeah. Talk about it more, but we didn't get any more than that.
I think the question for me is besides just, being a reveal for the audience, how would the mule be helpful to Hari? How would knowing it's Magnifico, or how would even, whatever, he has a chance to kill the mule right here. Just could end this thing. Yeah. But I think he knows that it's not really the mule. Yeah. And so that he's this is not going to do anything right now. Yeah. But at the same time, you could take a major chess piece off the board.
Right. I mean, and Hari's the master chess player. He's staring at the prime radiant all day, every day. I would guess maybe, it's because...
Does Hari have the prime? He does have the prime radiant, right?
Yeah, because there's 2. Yeah.
Well, there's one in Second Foundation. There's one in...
The one again,
in Empire.
Gave Demerzel, yeah.
Yeah, so there's not... Does he have a digital version of in the vault? I can never remember. There are actually 3 going around. I'm always confused.
Either way.
Because he's not... Because I don't know if he does have the prime rating, because I don't think we saw him use it in the first episode.
I thought he did use it though.
And I might be confusing it, because the thing is he doesn't see the thing. He's still on the 3rd crisis when they show up to him. He's still oh, this is y'all coming together. We can get past this 3rd crisis. He knows nothing about the mule, which obviously, because he doesn't have the visions. We know he doesn't know anything. He also doesn't know that Gaal is alive. Yeah. This version of Hari. he now understands like there is a second foundation, and he's curious, right? So there's kind of a turn here with this Hari, and I think he's learning a lot of things that are happening beyond his control now.
Sure.
Because he was still on the original directive, and he doesn't know the changes that have been being made. He doesn't know about the end of the timeline that's happening in 4 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that he doesn't have the Prime Radiant. He doesn't have the new version of the Prime Radiance. He is essentially like, he's just the plan. He's literally just the version of the plan, and then real Hari and Gaal like changed the plan and just didn't like tell this guy, you know?
Yeah. Prime Radiant aside, what I was going to say is that I think that the whole point with Hari and the Mule is like maybe keeping him alive is because, not to bleed into other characters, but it seems like Dusk is on a path to maybe blow a bunch of shit up and do something drastic. And they've already planted the seed that maybe letting the Mule eliminate Empire would be the best thing for like Empire itself or for the galaxy or whatever. So part of me is wondering if Hari thinks that the Mule needs to be there to get rid of the genetic dynasty.
True. Yeah. Part of that. Yeah. That still might be part of why he's there, if he needs to get rid of Empire and stuff. But that also seems to be going to according to plan without the Mule. He does say like, if you do the math, like how long before I take control of everything? He's like, oh, much shorter. You're going to be able to take everything pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. And again, the Mule isn't necessarily the end of everything, but I guess we just don't know what the future is with the Mule in charge. Yeah. Because it would change all the things. I don't know if that's a dark age. It's not a crisis. I don't know what that is, right? Could be great. Maybe it's just everyone's just having a party.
This is what we need.
Why
did we resist?
But yeah, the idea that Hari needs the Mule for some purpose and to potentially use him, and the way that he does kind of perk up when he finds out that there's a second foundation and a Gaal out there. Yeah. Seems very interesting and very ominous. We see how powerful he is, how he can just essentially almost kill the Mule. Yeah. And I'm almost wondering, are we setting up a foundation versus foundation future? Mm-hmm. This Hari versus the second foundation and Gaal. Yeah. Because he doesn't seem to be completely happy to know that his plan is off the rails. Yeah. So much. Could be. No, granted, it's just an AI. He doesn't have like emotions either. I guess he can feign them, as he says, but I don't know. I'm feeling very ominous about this because if he's using the Mule as well, that's not great.
Yeah, no, that's spooky.
So yeah, do you think they're setting up a foundation versus foundation thing?
It hadn't occurred to me yet. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. I think it would be an interesting twist or turn of events if like Hari goes from being our main, I guess, protagonist to now being like the ultimate baddie. Yeah. Almost seems like we're setting up that for some,
like that movie Transcendence.
For some reason. But again, I don't know what form the books take, and it could be a whole like wildly different things, you know? Yeah. And again, Harry's always just playing a game, and he'll use things, whatever he needs to, for a means to an end, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be bad, you know, for us. But I guess it depends on who are we in the story, you know? Unsure. But yeah, let us, I think we can move on. I mean, the last thing that happens to the Mule is like the only scenes we get with him is him hanging out in the mayor's office and just, you know, being obsessed with Gaal coming to town, you know, and not really.
We get a little Mule at the end of the episode too.
Yeah, but with Dawn, we can talk about it with Dawn. Which spoiler alert, Dawn's back.
He back.
Do you want to talk about Dawn?
I called it.
You did call it.
I'll be honest.
You didn't call it exactly, Morgan. I will have to correct you on that.
That's
you
pretty close.
You did think that Foundation might have snagged Dawn. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't Foundation. Or it was a Foundation ship, to be fair.
I mean, I said someone was going to snatch him out of space because he was in a suit. I didn't know his legs were going to get so fucked up. But yeah, you don't show us a body. He's still alive. And Bayta's there too, which I bet was a bummer for you.
I will say, very excited to see Dawn again. You did call it.
Yeah,
we did expect that, but also kind of got spoiled for me. So my excitement was a little muted. So I'm
spoiling
unfortunately,
shit,
yeah,
y'all.
they keep spoiling things. Unfortunately, I think regardless, most of my excitement came from the fact that Bayta was there.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I was like, Beta's back.
She's alive
and seemingly herself.
Yeah,
seemingly the same Bayta that we left. She's a little ray of sunshine, ever the optimist, unchanged. Why though? Why is she here? What does the mule want from her? I have no idea. Except again, we may be positive maybe it's because she has Magnifico, but clearly doesn't, and the mule would know that. I don't know, but she's there. And I'm excited.
She might have some influence over the mule.
Maybe. I think here's the thing. We talked about this a little bit last week. We were like, why is Tauren and Bayta at this point we know now have not been affected by the music?
Yeah.
And one of the most easily explainable things that I think we didn't really talk about, if the mule is Magnifico, and Magnifico clearly is the music affected everyone in that room and clearly affecting everyone around him. So Magnifico is very important regardless of if he's the mule or not. But assuming that Magnifico is really the one in charge and has control over who can be affected by that music because he's a mentalic, and it's not really about the music. I think it's just mentalic powers, right?
Sure.
The obvious answer, besides everything else that we posited, whether or not Tauren or Bayta or special, any of those kinds of things, is that the mule just spared them. I'm sorry, Magnifico just spared them. That Magnifico likes Bayta and likes Tauren, and Bayta was increasingly very empathetic and very nice to him and showed him kindness. So therefore he was just like,
you're good.
Hey, keep these two safe.
Yeah.
So he's telling the mule, I want Bayta, just not there. Yeah. Just not part of the fight. Just, she's fine. We'll talk about her later, but maybe that's really it. He just likes her.
Yeah.
And he's just keeping her safe for now.
I don't hate that theory.
Yeah. I think that might just be the most obvious thing,
Yeah.
Assuming everything that we are saying is true, which it most likely is.
Yeah.
What else happened? So Dawn, first of all, Dawn was stranded apparently for days. The timelines of all this is so wonky for me. But yes,
he's got a special suit that can crush his legs to keep him alive or something.
Cool sci-fi shit, I guess. They can stop showing me his legs though.
Yeah, I was like,
ooh. Great reaction from him when he sees it though. I would say actor wise, I was like, I don't know.
Those are mine.
Oh man.
I know.
I'm not going to recreate it here because that would be very bad for everyone who's listening. But
if you want to see us recreate it, get in the comments.
If you have, what is it? Trypophobia. Yeah. I think it's the multiple holes or whatever. Like, don't just close your eyes. It's a little wonky there. It's not great. I love her. Speaking of Bayta and her general optimism, I love that little bit of like sadness when she's like, well, only half of us. I'm only half of us, know? And I was like, oh yeah, like she misses Tauren so much. Oh, and again, this couple, don't know what it is about them, but they're winning me over.
Yeah, dude.
They really do love each other. Love the end of the world. It's great.
We deserve this.
The mule comes in, tries to dig around in Dawn's brain to figure out where Gaal is.
/ legs.
Doesn't get that. But now he has Empire. Not great. You know, he has an emperor at his disposal.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to fix his legs anytime soon. And because, you know, what good would that do?
Yeah. My question with this too. So just logistically, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he had his nanites, it would theoretically heal him. But we also heard Demerzel say a couple episodes back
that the nanites left his body or something.
How the fuck did that happen?
Or actually, no, the nanites just...
They stopped getting a signal.
They just stopped projecting the signal of his life.
Is the implication he's maybe too far into space to get the signal, or?
I guess the thing is the nanites,
or in that suit.
I don't know how the nanites work.
Yeah, I just want to know why she thinks he's dead when he was never dead.
Because it is the suits also not just they're taking it's sciencey, right? It's like it's taking part, not just like his flesh. It's taking from like his actual
energy,
atoms, right? It's taking nutrients, you know, from him to feed back into him, right? What does that one do to the nanites? Because they are part of that within the nutrients, within the little blood cells or whatever. Yeah. And can they repair as fast as the thing is taking? You know, and then. If there is no matter there to take from or what, do the nanites work the same way where it can't also use the same energy to take, you know? So who knows exactly like how those nanites work or if they're even still in his body? Cause you think that if they were that
he'd get healed up,
he would either be healed or they would know that he's alive.
Correct.
So we didn't see it get extracted from him, but I guess it's safe to assume that it probably was extracted from him the moment that the mule picked him up.
All I'm saying is I'm excited to see Demerzel's face when she sees he's alive.
I'm excited to see everyone's faces when Dusk looked really sad. We'll talk about that, but yeah.
Well, it's complicated. Yeah.
It's complicated. But yeah, the last thing I'll say about the scene though is in true, I'm in love with Bayta fashion. The fact that she stands up to the mule is so powerful. Just even in her state, even knowing she can't do anything and the way that she does it, she's like, I think you should leave.
Yeah.
You know?
She's a badass.
Not being at all afraid of this guy, and good on her because, you know, we like Dawn and her just showing she's always standing up for people that are helpless. Mm-hmm. Again, will never back down from a fight, cares about other people. I just love it. I just love it.
We like people people who stand up to bullies are the best.
Yeah. Love her so much. And she's definitely, just for that alone, is going to be in the running for a crush of the episode. So, which is not surprising, I think, for most people who listen to this podcast. But that's that. Speaking of Dusk.
Yeah, let's talk
and
about
how
Dusk.
he feels about learning day. When Demerzel and Dusk finally meet after this, the first thing she says is, "Day is dead." I'm sorry, Dawn is dead. My bad.
Day might as well be too.
Day might as well be too.
But
Dawn is dead. Oh man, the look on his face. He's so sad about it.
He looks like he need a hug.
Even though there is another one ready to go. But it's different. Yeah. It's things that we're learning a little bit more about decanting, which maybe this information was already there, but we always forget about it. But yeah, I love the scene between him and Quent. I hope Quent's real. I know she's real because she's acknowledged by this guy that comes in.
She's real.
You always wonder if like it's a figment of what are they seeing him, you know, or is he just imagining this? Because if Demerzel's not around to say like who you're talking to, you know.
Yeah, you think he's bad shit.
But I don't. But she is acknowledged by other people in the room. So so she is real. And I think my favorite quote of this is like how she is consoling Dusk and they're dealing with their humanity. Like, of course, there's a new one. We have a backup, but this one mattered, right?
Yeah.
This one mattered to him. Like he would have been the best of us, right? He didn't see this version of Day in Day, but he saw that Dawn could be, and a rightful emperor, like a good emperor.
And at the same time, Demerzel has to tell Dusk that he was like, no, actually, he was a traitor.
Yeah.
Like he tried to ditch, go be with Foundation, and he sold us out.
Yeah,
it's devastating for Dusk.
Yes. Yeah, but in this time, he's like mourning. I love how the way that Quent tries to ease him. She says, hey, a person is a person. She said in her life, individual people do not affect the flow of history, but we affect each other. And I believe that matters. So despite being clones, being the same person over and over again, all those things, she believes that this is a person and this is, we affect each other.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think that's like the theme of the show, right? Is like we have individuals don't like time is going to move on and do things. And I guess certain individuals, do affect some sort of flow, AKA the mule or whatever. But at the end of the day, like Foundation has always been focused on the individuals and what they're doing here. Like, despite how much time passed, how much macro that we take and look at humanity, it's these individual little stories that matters, how we affect each other in the time that we're given, right? They always say it's not the destination, it's the journey, right? Yeah. And the journey is part of who are you taking this journey with? You know, who are you on the journey with? And yeah, we could assume that Dawn is just another version of Cleon, and you can dilute into saying, there's always another one, we have a backup, but this individual Dawn, there would never be another Dawn like this. Yeah. At least that helps to ease Dusk, and he gives him the name Dawn the Worthy. Yeah. That'll be on his plans. But guess what? He's alive, so we don't have to worry about it. So Dusk might be happy to find out, or not, because yes, as you said, Demerzel lets him know.
He's a traitor.
Yeah, he's a traitor, which I didn't write too much down, that we'll get into more other things later on. But he's probably not going to be happy with Dawn knowing that he did it. But he sent him a message. He did the thing because he had to. It was supposed to help. He thought he was doing the right thing. I don't know. Whatever. It's all there's a whole lot of things. But before that happens, the council's here.
And they're not happy.
They think the one way that we can placate the mule is to just give him something. Give him a big treasure. Give him something big.
Take Trantor.
You want Empire to take the capital. Yeah. This is a stupid plan. Yeah. As much as it's interesting and I love the dynamic of it. I love the idea of it. It's so stupid. It's like, why would you do that?
So you feel similarly to Dusk.
I feel very much like similarly to Dusk, because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like seriously, the Empire, in no way would, definitely not America. I'm trying to think of any equivalent of a country do in any sort of war where someone's
with terrorists.
Literally
giving them everything.
I'm thinking Roman Empire, right? Yeah. Oh, we have a band of pirates or people that are taking over these small, pretty major cities or whatever, and we're like, well, let's just give them Rome.
Yeah, I mean, it's worse than that.
The Romans can still exist though. They can, the emperor, no, Caesar, you can still do your thing, but we're just not going to do it here. Just give them Rome and it'll take them a while to it's like, that's what?
I mean, it's even worse than that, because if that were the example, it'd be like, okay, so these pirates have taken a city and a half, halfway across the galaxy. Mm-hmm. Let's give them the keys to the city and walk away. It's insane.
This doesn't make any sense.
Dusk would agree with you.
I mean, all in all, everyone outright never says it to Empire's face, but we all know that everyone believes that Empire is dead. The genetic dynasty is dying. That's mostly what they're doing. They're trying to placate someone because they know that Empire is no longer going to be in control anyway. Mm-hmm. So it really is, but they're not being subtle about it, you know? And yes, if you give away Trantor, you don't think that he's going to be mad about that. You think he's just going to do it? There's absolutely no way that you thought that this was going to work. It would be like, why is this not treason not happening like in quiet? Why are you going to him and being like, hey, we're going to commit treason? Or how do you feel about that? What?
Yeah, it's like, if you're going to do that too, like, why are you also just telling him? Why not just like do it then?
He did. He's like, we just came here to let you know, or what, right? It was just a warning, right? But this is going to happen regardless. And it's like, okay, great. So just do it. You know,
yeah, it's kind of like the Bond villain thing of being like, before I do my evil master plan, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is so that you have a chance to disrupt it.
It's really, and especially because we know the Mule, and I guess, yes, the characters don't know the Mule and the council doesn't know the Mule or what exactly he wants. They just see him as like a normal pirate that just wants riches, because they're like, hey, it's going to take a long time to get through Trantor to get everything they want and to set up their own little empire or whatever. It's going to loot everything would take a while. It's like, so you're just, first of all, this is only temporary for as long as it takes him to take Trantor anyway. You don't think he's going to want more after that? And then also you're just assuming he's greedy and that's all he wants. Right. Which in reality, we know he just wants power. Yeah. So he's not going to stop at Trantor.
No,
definitely not. I mean, they say placate. It really is just going to be a layover.
Yeah.
You know, for them to try and fight back later on.
Speed
right?
bump.
Which I guess is a good plan to a certain extent. But
you can give
the
him
way
any
that
of the
they're
other
going
planets.
about it just seems like, there's other.
Wouldn't you give him any other planet in the system first before you give him the capital city with all the fucking keys to the fucking universe?
Yeah, except for the fact that it gets rid of Empire, I guess. They say like, yo, Empire lives on, but it's not. It doesn't.
Or just kill Empire.
Because everything here, like the whole genetic dynasty, I think has to happen here. Right? Like they have the clones here. They have other things. Like they can't just
take
leave
the test tube somewhere else.
I don't know. I guess can they? Yeah, I don't know.
Also, if this were the case, then why didn't Council just kill Empire? That way you get rid of the whole Cleon problem, but you also don't have to give the Mule the keys to the city.
I don't know, because a coup would look bad on this universe, I guess. But I don't fucking know. Like I guess we're supposed to assume that Empire still has some sort of strength, but they're also showing us that Empire has lost its bite.
Yeah, they don't care about it.
They can't do anything. Yeah. Empire is like held back from retaliating against this guy. Like, if they were there, that guy would have been dead on the floor already. If this was Cleon the 17th.
Yeah.
But this Cleon, with 2 thrones vacant, can't do anything. They won't let him.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. The writing's on the wall. Empire is dead. We've been saying that since the very beginning. It feels all this does is just incite more violence from Dusk, incite bad thing. It really is very bad to just give your whole plan, you know, to a person that like
potentially volatile.
A wounded dog is just gonna.
We've given you your execution date too.
Yeah, like is not gonna fight back. Come on.
Yeah,
that's so dumb.
He might blow up a planet.
But I actually don't think he's going to. So we go to Demerzel and Dusk, and she's working on decanting new ones. And he, I think, convincingly tells her, "Hey, don't do that." Because we know he's the only one there, but also because they can't decant. It would take some time to get them up to speed. We don't have the time.
And also, he doesn't want to die.
It's how that would work in this right now anyway would be so random. I still think there's a possibility what he says is true, and also we don't have the time and all those kind of things. I still think bring back Cleon the First then, because that would be the show of force that you need. But I'm still saying that that's a possibility, but that's not what he says. He says, like, what if we had something else? And he talks about the weapon, and he is surprised to find out that Demerzel doesn't know about it.
Which is something I said. This is my other, like, told you so. Remember? Like, what I was just like, and somehow Demerzel doesn't know about it. And you were kind of like, well, maybe she does, and he just doesn't talk about it. I was like, no, I was right. She literally has no fucking idea.
Even Dusk was surprised.
And I'm like, yeah, because he says all the things that I said like 4 episodes ago, where I was like, massive amounts of your resources, years of planning and building, and she's got no idea. I was like, what?
Why do you think she doesn't know?
I don't know, man.
Do you think she's just been so busy worrying about like the future of the Cleonic dynasty, of how everything's been going to shit,
or maybe willful
the
ignorance,
genetic drift of things. I think there's a whole lot, and then also having the Prime Radiant has distracted her, so to speak.
Yeah,
her freedom has distracted her. The idea of like, what do I happen after? Like, she knows the genetic dynasty is dying, and she's trying to figure out what do I do when this? How do I prevent it? And then what do I do after it? So she's got a lot on her plate, a lot of things that she's thinking about. But yeah, the fact that since he became Dusk, he's been doing this, he says. So, which I guess happens around, I don't know, 40 so it's been 3-4 decades or something. Not as long to build a black hole gun as I thought, to be completely honest and fair.
Impressive building skills, Empire.
At the end of the day, it's just a it's a plot thing. It's a gun. It's a gun in space. Who knows, right?
A big gun.
The big gun. But yeah, she doesn't know about it. And it took decades to build this. So interesting. And Dusk again says this is just meant to be a deterrent. It was supposed to be a gift for Dawn. I knew if he would need it if needed or whatever. Now he's suggesting that like this is what we can do. We can't decamp people. We need to just come together. The genetic dynasty, people are shitting on our legacy. Like, we can bring it back. We can show them like who we are, that kind of stuff. He puts the idea into Demerzel's head.
Yeah.
To use the weapon. I don't think Dusk has plans for the weapon, but it sounds like, based on what I gathered later on, Demerzel knows exactly what she's going to use this on.
I think someone's going to use the weapon.
I think Demerzel's using it. I think
too.
Demerzel, now that she knows about it, she's going to do that. This is the part where they mentioned the treason as well of Dawn, you know, and how Dawn was doing things. And I'm like, this also just confirms to me that Gaal was fucking stupid. To literally give everything up, to give the entire plan, everything going up. Because now they're like, oh, there is a second foundation. Oh, there's a Gaal out there doing things. They're now Empire knows like everything is going on. Demerzel is now more on Empire's side, and this didn't help to sway Empire or anything to the Foundation's cause. Yeah. It just feels like they just made more enemies. Demerzel seems like she's really against all of what in there, and has now become like, oh, the things that have been happening in secret, we have to stop it. You know?
I generally agree. I think that my only defense of Gaal, even though I'm not too keen on defending her in general, is that like I think that Demerzel with her like brain meld fingers would have figured out whatever she wanted to know that Gaal knew anyways.
Sure. People keep saying that, but I'm like, you don't do the brain finger thing if you don't outright readily admit that like, oh, by the way, I've been having like visions, and too bad you can't see them, so you just have to believe me. She's like, oh, maybe I can. She wouldn't have done it. Like there was no cause for her to take out this interrogation thing that they've never shown us. I don't think that there was a reason. She was either there to kill Gaal or to Like she could have just learned like, oh, why were you here? There's a second foundation and this is what we're doing. Didn't have to mention anything about the visions or what she thought about, and then she went and did the thing. That was all that had. I don't know.
Pretty thorough though. I don't know.
I think you could have like left out certain bits of information and just given Demerzel enough for her to believe, because there was no indication that she would have needed to do that kind of thing. But it also felt like a convenient plot device that was written this season because we've never seen her do that before, just so that she could see the visions or whatever. So I'm also like, it was going to happen either way because that's what the writers wanted to happen. But I think that there's plausible deniability in terms of like whether or not she needed to do that or was going to do that if Gaal hadn't just been so fucking forthright with like literally everything.
I agree.
That's just my opinion. I know everyone agrees with you though, Morgan, that she was going to do the thing and she had the ability to do it. She was going to get the information one way or another. I was like, sure, I guess. But also Gaal just let it happen, I think.
I agree.
And people are mad at me because like, well, she was going to kill her. It's like, no, she still gave up. I think that she folded super quickly. And I was like, and you made an enemy. You made an enemy. I don't understand. I don't understand Gaal. We can cut to Gaal if you want before we come back to Demerzel and her little thing.
We can cut. I got almost nothing to say about Gaal.
What do I have written down for Gaal? I have like 3 sentences.
Be more than I got, my man.
Morgan, speaking of Gaal,
it was nice watching Troy with Gaal.
Speaking of Gaal, and
that's all I got.
Troy's great. I want so much to root for Gaal and the Second Foundation and everything that's going on there, because it is supposed to be like our main characters, right? It's supposed to be our driving force behind everything. Mm-hmm. I cannot figure out for the life of me why I'm not liking it, that I just want to like skip it, that I can't get behind Gaal and whatever she's doing.
I have thoughts, if I may.
Sure.
I mean, one, I think that they've given Gaal as a character so little that's human. So much of her shit is just math brain, future probability, math brain stuff, that there's not a lot of like human stuff to latch onto. Yeah. I also think
they try. They try. Yeah.
I also think that performance wise, it's like they write her the same scene almost every episode where she's just like, there's this thing, this whole potential. And it's always like, she's just in this like perpetual discovery of some other thing about the future of the Prime Radiant in a way where it's like, all right, that's Gaal doing Gaal. But I haven't seen any growth. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We're not seeing any like major like want there from like an individual perspective.
Yeah.
Beyond just the purpose of whatever the writers need her to serve.
Yeah.
And therefore whatever the plan needs her to serve, whatever her purpose is, and I guess in the story is like just to be the thing that fights the mule. But we're not getting any insight into like her as like a soul, right?
Yes.
There's no individual soul there. It's just plot. And it's so boring. It's so nothing, right?
I was impressed with her ability to do sign.
No, sure. I mean, as an actress, she's doing what's given to her. Like, I'm not harping on the actress, and it's easy to like do that. Like, she's learning a lot. She's trying her best to have good scenes, these good connections, and there's a lot of like good faith there, or goodwill given from like past seasons and performance that makes me want to again like Gaal and the story. But this season has been really not great for Gaal. I mean, just story-wise, I'm like so confused. You're telling me, Morgan, that you've been training for 150 years-ish for the mule to come.
Yeah.
You've been training those mentalics. You've been building up the second foundation. You've been trying to prepare for this exact thing. And your instinct, instead of saying like, he's here, now's the time for us to do what we were meant to do, is, oh, you guys should run. All the powerful mentalics and everything that we've trained is like, just get out of here. You got to go where no one can find you. What?
Yeah, the 400-year plan was to hide.
Well, yeah, was it's like, and I'll go and fight him. It's like, okay, but why? Why train everyone then? Like, how is this different from the first foundation then? Like, what's the point of this second foundation? I know it's supposed to carry on the plan after the first foundation dies, so to speak, and fails or whatever. Like the first foundation, I think, was always meant to fail, so to speak. But so it's to carry on the plan, but I'm not seeing what the second foundation is actually fucking doing.
I mean, if we're putting our cards on the table here,
Yeah.
My hope for the show, and I'll be honest, I don't think this is going to happen.
Sure.
Right? We're not talking. This is not like theorizing. I am not predicting. I'm saying what I want is for us as an audience to realize that both the Mule and Gaal and Hari, the Foundation, are all kind of shitty people because they're just trying to like take power by whatever they think is the most effective means, and that Tober and Bayta end up actually taking charge, and that the universe or the galaxy gets behind them because they have empathy and they actually care about individuals. That's where I'm at right now. I'm like, Empire sucks, they're selfish. Foundation sucks, they're uber utilitarian and just fucking future rule by numbers in a cold, calculated, gross kind of way. And the Mule is obviously just a power hungry psychopath. And Tober and Bayta are the ones that really just have empathy. That's where I'm at with the show. That's where I hope we're going.
But what about the second foundation? What's their problem?
Same shit. They're doing the same thing. I don't find them any more empathetic. I don't find them any more personable.
It's weird that I think most stories would at least give them the ideas like, hey, humanity is evolving, right? Like we are the natural evolution of, like, I mean, these are our X-Men, right? These are our mutants. They're all mutants, so to speak, these mentalics, right? That their fight would be like, hey, what is the natural progression of humanity? We have people that can control minds. We've seen like how rare that's supposed to be. Dawn is confused by it. Everyone's like, oh, these people have powers. The Mule is everyone's like, oh, the Mule has powers, and you've heard about this, right? This is supposed to be the natural step in humanity's progression. And you think Foundation would be taking that on and that mantle and being like, hey, not only do we want to save humanity, but we want to progress it.
Yeah. But
instead it's just, we're in hiding. We're here. You know, they haven't shown themselves, that they haven't. I don't even know what, like when I even see like the extras that are on set for the second Foundation, they're just staring at the scenery. Literally like the ship is flying away, and you see a couple people like standing on a bridge, and they're not even watching the ship. They're watching something else. Yeah. You know, I was like, what are we doing? What is the Foundation doing? We know we've sent people out into different things, but we've only seen one spy master that works for the Foundation. We've seen another person that's like clearly working as like on the space dock that helped out with the council, you know, so they're around doing things, but not with their powers either. Yeah. We're not seeing like how evolution has changed humanity, like what mentalic being a mentalic means, you know. We get a little bit from Troy. Troy talks about how we all share one mind, very similar to robots, right? But how we become like individual things. We share these things. It's different from the Mule. I don't know how it's different because they don't mention it. He has a weakness, I guess, but that's different. The whole point is that like love, right? Love and empathy that we become like but we don't see that. We only see, they're just telling us. As much as I like Troy and I love this idea, they're telling us and not showing us. Like, show us who the second foundation is, and it's not. It doesn't make any sense. Morgan, I'm just so lost in like what the second foundation stands for and what they're here for or whatever. We get like, someone was excited and in my DMs about like, oh, it seems like Gaal was given more people from the foundation to like be on our cause. And it seems to be this moment where like, oh, they came together. Do you think we would let you do this alone? I was like, who are these people?
Yeah.
Who are these people? Because they seem like red shirts. They get no lines. They get one line. One of them gets one line.
Yeah.
These are people that are just here to die, is my guess, because we can't have Gaal going alone, because otherwise, she would just survive and people ask why she's surviving. It's because we need other people to sacrifice for her, right? There's literally nothing about the second fight. We get no even individuality or anything, nothing to root for here.
I'm with you.
So lost, and like how they've lost the plot on writing this second foundation. Because it should be really cool. It should be a moment where I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are going to go join like Gaal. They should have been the part of it the whole time, like it should have been a moment for us, but like they didn't even try. Or I guess they tried. I don't know. They didn't try hard enough. I feel like I'm being so harsh on a show that I love so much, but this is the part where I'm like, I could probably care less about the foundation thing happening anymore. You got to do something else with it, and this all just seems like set up for other things anyway.
I'm not watching for Gaal and the foundation anymore.
Yeah. Let's go back to Demerzel real quick, and she has a little meeting with Zephyr Valeris.
Oh yeah, right.
I always get the names wrong, but
another garden scene with the golden apple.
The last garden scene, the poisoned apple, another confession, so to speak. Demerzel did clock that Zephyr Valeris was there at the council and is taking on the role as a representative of the Luminous, which is like the main religion.
This is the one with the salt planet, right?
I do not recall.
I think it's the one where like
I think that, religion can expand beyond planets, right? It does. It goes everywhere. But yes, the
100%.
Spiral you're talking about?
Yeah, where Dave visits, right, and goes on his like spirit quest where he has to get rid of his nanites, and Demerzel's there and she's a believer, like, and feels very strongly about the religion. I think it's the same religion, right?
I'm trying to remember what other Zephyr she encountered, because she mentioned
she killed one.
She has killed one.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it was the previous season.
It's season 2. It's basically because there is a Zephyr that is very distrustful of Day, right? And so Day's like, and she sees his cloneness as making him not human, right? And he's like, well, I'll go on your spirit quest in order to prove it and see what I see at the end, right? And she's like, bullshit. He gets rid of his nanites. He goes on the walk all the way to the grotto, comes back. He says he has a vision of some either tree or bird that signalizes rebirth for them. The other lead Zephyr sees this as like he's had a vision. We'll never doubt the Cleonic dynasty again. And then Day's like, cool, Demerzel, poison the Zephyr that doubted me, and makes Demerzel kill her. And then also shows Demerzel on the ride out of the planet that he didn't even have the vision. He just knew what to say to make them think he did. But yeah, that is, I'm fairly certain that's the religion, the planet, whatever that we're talking about here.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is like One of my favorite backstories. Wish we could do more with that.
Yeah, I mean, if we were talking about this, that would have been a huge episode to have talked about. But, you know.
Anyways. Here we are with Demerzel in the garden. Didn't mean to totally sidetrack you here.
Yeah, no, not at all. Because I couldn't remember the Zephyr that she encountered before. But yeah, she's struggling with the fact that she has to do something. She has to do something in the future, that she can't allow this. And it's all, I think, all directly tied to her directive. She feels bad about it. She feels guilty. She feels guilty about the past Zephyr. She's also realizing, she's like, you know, she says, how did I think that the mother would be able to accept me or take me, you know, that I would be able to rely on. She was searching for freedom. And here Zephyr Virellus is giving her an out. Yeah. She's saying, you can come with us. Mm-hmm. And she can't do it. No matter how hard she tries, we've talked about it, she can't free herself. It just goes beyond her directive. Her directive is pushing her towards her own tyranny at this point. Her own... I
mean, like we might talk about in a second, like Day says, she's enslaved by it.
Yeah, very much enslaved by it. And it's causing her to, you know... Again... What do robots say about ourselves? This idea that like a directive, a thing causes us to cut ties with people, push them away, to say like the good thing that's in front of me. No, because I'm a bad person and I'll never be anything but bad. So you might as well just like go on. Right. That we do this is what we do like in real life. And that's what she's doing. Like this directive has got such a hold on her, whatever this is that she's imprisoned to it and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, there's a robot sci-fi version of it, but then there's also like the deeply human way that we also do this to ourselves, you know? Yeah. And I love that. And I love that we have this parallel here, that we have these like series of scenes where we're just talking about like what makes a robot human, and this is essentially what makes a robot human. Despite the fact that it's the most robot thing for her to do it, right? But it is also the most human thing to, you know, to be beholden to these directives, these beliefs that I am and can never be, and I would never change, and I can keep trying, but I failed. And that sucks. It sucks. And unfortunately, I think what this is leading her towards is she's planning on destroying a planet of Luminists. She's planning on attacking because the Luminists were the ones that helped come up with the plan to give Trantor up. And there's a little moment where Demerzel clocks that in the council or in the throne room. Yeah. And looks at Zephyr Virellus. And of course, the Luminous and Zephyr Virellus does not, outside of this thing, doesn't know that she's a robot. Yeah. And unfortunately, that kind of became in the calculations of a robot, realized in order for me to save the Empire and Trantor and fulfill my directive, I can't allow this religion to keep going on. They are too powerful. Which the Zephyr says here. It's like, we have power. We have the ability to do things. Well, you're not going to have it next episode, I think.
You're not going to exist pretty soon.
I mean, yeah, the religion, I'm sure, is far reaching, you know? I don't know how many planets they're going to destroy, probably just one. It's weird that they're basically turning the gun on themselves. But because it's not about facing the mule, it's about what is the biggest threat to Empire right now? And the biggest threat is a religion. The biggest threat is whoever has control of the council. And even these two, the Cloud Dominion, which isn't even part of the council, and the Zephyrs, the Luminists, as it were, they have power. So we're seeing like how much more that Empire has lost, you know? Yeah. So yeah, not looking great. Zephyr comes out of this and she's crying after getting a memory erased. And it's like, why am I crying?
It is kind of cool that we get to see like the place where the memories are erased.
Yeah, how that happens. Yeah.
There's like the walkway with the big like orbs and whatever. I was like, oh, that's, you know, I don't really understand how that walkway is programmed to know exactly which part of her memory to erase, how it's just that conversation. That's fine, whatever. But it is cool. Like, I was still grateful to, like, it's such a cool conceit that she walks through and then she's like, why am I crying or whatever. I was like, oh,
it was cool.
That's wild.
I think this actress, was it Innocent? I'm forgetting the first name. Rebecca Innocent. Innocent? I don't know. Sorry. It's I'm pronouncing that wrong probably. But Rebecca does a fantastic job there.
Agree.
In terms of representing just the sheer sadness that's going on there, the empathy, just so with a little bit, you know, that seems like it would be a hard thing to do, to convey all those like emotions.
Yeah.
So as an actress and as a moment too, feels very sad.
I agree.
Demerzel is very cold. She's very like, you know, robotic. And I feel for the Luminous that she again is going to do a bad thing. We've seen her do bad things.
It's going to make her very sad
and kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
All for this directive.
I mean, it's going to devastate her, right?
Yeah.
She said in previous seasons she wants nothing more than to be with the Luminous. She believes in their cause deeply. She likes them.
Yeah, and even more so, she says in this scene, this was a friendship. Mm-hmm. She's very close to this, more than anyone before, and whatever she did for the directive now it's a friend. She was enjoying these talks, these conversations, but why would she think that she could change, you know? It's like, it's sad because we're like losing this friendship and losing these talks, and like Demerzel's gonna have to do a bad thing, but Demerzel's also
robot
losing it herself. Like she's losing this friendship as much as like, you know,
I mean, also I gotta say that it's like every time I start to get swept up in like the sadness of it, I'm like, Demerzel's a robot. 2 + 2 always equals 4 for her. There's no way it will ever equal 5. She has she's programmed for a directive.
No, but in this world, Day has a plan, Morgan. Day can change it.
Day could change her directive, right?
Yes.
I think there's a world where Day changes her directive and she gets to live happily ever after.
The ultimate directive is to love, Morgan. What if he changes the directive to love? What then, Morgan? Will you believe in a robot kind?
I think Demerzel needs a whole lot of mushroom tea before she gets there. But yeah, maybe.
The directive is love, guys. That's the plot.
Spoiler alert.
Did you see that coming ever? Let's talk about Day.
Let's talk about Day.
Let's talk about Mycogen.
Yeah.
And this
trial.
This sham of a trial. Doesn't even want to pretend to be like a real trial.
Yeah, can we just say justice rating from a scale of 0 or 1 to 10? I'm at like a 2 on this.
You mean
one.
like was justice served, or was justice served?
Just someone's got to say it, okay?
I mean, justice was
the justice system.
They definitely brought down the gavel.
Yeah, the justice system in Mycogen leaves a lot to be desired. Let's just say that.
This is like you're gonna who's on trial? When am I on trial? Who's doing this trial? And it's like, oh, you're on trial by the faith. And then the lights come up so dramatically, by the way.
Yeah,
and then
cool.
It's like so basically everyone, you're on trial for everyone is what you're saying.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like,
say what you will. They all participate. They have an active democracy.
Here's what I literally everything about this I'm so disappointed.
You seem upset.
I'm gonna jump around here. My notes are so
do it. I mean, I think this is about the last thing we got, right?
This is the last thing. This is why we saved it, because there's a whole lot to talk about here. Let's talk about the logistics of this trial. First of all, let's talk about the inheritance, right? Okay. This group of people. Yes. You have Sunmaster 18, who clearly just wants power for himself. Because
like in the most transparent way
like
possible.
it's like I said it last week. He's like, oh, you shouldn't glory over another. Says the person who's glorying over everyone who bears the fucking staff of a robot, which is really cool thing, by the way. But not
We'll get
here.
there.
The whole point is that what have y'all been doing? What exactly is the point of the inheritance? Because it seems like for the past 5,000 years, you're mad about Day coming down, Cleon the First coming down and destroying. It's like 600 years ago, and taking your tools and doing whatever and killing a whole bunch of you. And then what? And then what have you been doing? Just waiting? What is this group of dropout theater nerds? Clearly dancers. They're trained dancers because there's a choreographed theatrical performance to tell this story, which is not a great way to do a trial, by the way, but this is what they've been training for, I guess, is to do a choreographed thing, is just to show the story, which I guess is the whole point of their existence. Beyond that, they've just been waiting for them to do this. Has this all been like a rehearsal for this one performance?
I think the term is brooding. Yeah. I'm with you. I hear you.
I like a good brooding. Don't get me wrong. Give me a main character who broods, man. I'm there.
Yeah. A courtroom, or entire colony of people who've been brooding for, hundreds or thousands of years.
It's like I don't get a sense of like, what is their community like? What have they been doing, I guess, foundation wise, in a way that like has been trying to bring back robot kind. Yeah. They have a robot on a staff, and that's literally it. They stopped there. They've like they're waiting for the real robot to come back and bring back all of robots, but they have a robot that exists and they don't do anything with it but put it on the staff. And I don't think a robot's going to like that.
Yeah, his head on a stick, maybe not.
For hundreds of years, I'm lost. I'm lost of what this inheritance is supposed to be and what they've been doing, and they've just been living. We have life mates. We have everything. We don't even get a sense of like what their culture is like in terms of beyond just being able. They're all dancers, I guess, dancers and religious zealots, and they just sit around like these people that are in the rafters, in the balconies, so to speak. They are. Where did they come from? Did someone pull them from their job at like a mining facility? And it's like, oh, hey, we need you to put on the thing. We need you to come here because there's a trial about to happen. You've been practicing for this, right? So like, can you just, whatever you're doing over here, inciting a rebellion, don't do that right now. We need you to go. They're not doing that. They're having dinner. They're waiting in their trailer for this. With the star on the door, they said, hey, 5 minutes until showtime.
Oh, we got a big trial today,
guys. Big five. Okay, thank you, 5. Who are they?
I don't know.
And what do they do besides this?
Also, like, why is Song so unhappy?
Isn't
Isn't this her community? Isn't this what she wanted? Isn't this what she...
And they're like, when she puts on the sash, she's no longer my life mate. She's an executioner. But you're not even on trial. They don't even attempt to address her and like her part in all of this. They just put her there so she can espouse information about what's happening today. And then by the end of it, it's not even a trial. She was never in any danger at all. What is this? What is going on? It is so useless for a lot of ways. I was like, man, I really wanted to know more about Mycogen. I really wanted to understand this inheritance. I really thought it was going to be a really cool way. It's like, what has been building down here? Not even a rebellion, it's just a conservatory, I guess.
Just a cult.
It's just a cult. And that's so boring. I was like, no, like it should be like a group of people that we might actually care about. Like, how do they live? How do they do that? Like what have they been doing to like, I was like, no, you're just people. And granted, I guess it's just one guy, but like, what is his point? What are you even glorying over, Sunmaster 18? Are you in it just for the to say that you're the leader? The leader of what? What are y'all doing? What do you lead? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you just lead a group of people that do a dance. like imagine Day's not here. What happens with the inheritance without Day coming down and disrupting stuff? You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
What is their day-to-day life like? What is it? He just sits there and looks at his staff and you know, they practice the song.
Maybe they get high.
Day in, day out. They get high a lot. Yeah. I mean, we know that this is like the food place where Trantor gets most of its food, but are all these guys farmers or whatever in their spare time?
Foodies.
So you've been doing nothing. You've literally been doing nothing for 600 years, for 5,000 years.
Yeah. It's also frustrating because it's like, wait. This guy is actually showing you like, oh, robots are real. There is a robot still, the big one, the one that like y'all claim to worship. And like, not only does he seem credible because, hey, turns out Cult Master Man has looked at Song's memories and knows it's true. And also he had the tool. He knows the song that the robot head sings. But they're like, nah, we'd rather just kill you and keep living in the Dark Ages.
Yeah. And also, like, he's what is it, remediation or something?
Remediation.
That's what they're doing. How do they do this a lot? Is it because that they've never gotten a chance to do this that they're all excited to do remediation?
Yeah,
it's like, finally, we get to do remediation.
We get to kill somebody.
Who else would be on trial for the inheritance, right? Do they just do that? Is this their goal? Is like just to try all of humanity? Is like, if you don't believe in robots, we're going to try. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
And yes, he's, as you said, knows about everything, is just doing it anyway. Because why?
He likes the power.
It's great, sure, but if I understood like what they actually did, you know, because it's because he doesn't care about, he doesn't actually want a robot to lord over him. He wants humanity. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know how this works. It seems so confusing. I think like in the books, apparently I was trying to figure out some stuff, and I think like the inheritance people were supposedly helped a little bit. Their history, they knew about the robots. It was here that the Hari originally found out about like robots and learned more about them. You know, this is so far long ago. We didn't even, people don't like really think about robots that much, I guess, in the Foundation books, right? That Mycogen, the Sector and the Inheritance and the Sunmaster 14, I guess in the books, like helped give them their books and their history so that they can work on psychohistory. Okay. You know, they gave them a lot of information. It was like actually very important. But here, this is so far removed from that I'm just so confused and lost, and yeah.
Well, Day takes a big tumble. Falls into the abyss. What do you think's down there? Bunch of mushrooms?
I think what's down there,
spare robot parts,
is what's down there is a trial for Day to overcome so that he can emerge, reborn, and take over for Sunmaster, and then he will become the person that leads the inheritance to bringing back all of the robot kind. That's what I think is down there.
Okay, so some predictions that you're saying, and just to be clear, I might have just bit off a lot more than I can chew here, but you think that there is another trial down below underground? There's more of them, and this is just phase one.
No.
He's gonna fall down there. And there's actually then like
not a judicial trial, but like a trial. You know, like when you go through trials and he has to go through it. You know, he has to escape the dungeon.
Prove his
he has
worth.
to go. Yeah, it's a metaphorical trial for him to.
I thought you meant like we did the dance portion. And now there's like the singers down low or something, or now they're gonna make him paint.
No, he goes down into the depths only so he can rise again. Right. Metaphorically, for him to be able to rise into power and to take over this inheritance and to lead the rebellion and to get rid of Sunmaster, he has to go down first in order to rise Morgan. Okay. Haven't you read a book ever?
What? A what? Is it a book?
Have you seen a show ever, Morgan?
Okay.
That's what's down there.
Yeah.
It's just metaphor. It's just symbolism is what's down there.
I think it might be a cafeteria.
a cafeteria for ants and fungus. and other microorganisms to feed on people, apparently.
Maybe they don't eat clones.
Let's go through this. First of all, a cool robot lives. There's other robots, I guess.
Or part of it. Yeah.
And why does it not work, I guess, is how does it work? I guess it's not a real robot because it doesn't have like... It's lost the ability to like function as a robot.
Yeah,
so
I think it needs parts.
It needs something, right?
Yeah.
It also needs like this handshake protocol just to be able to like communicate, you know, but it's searching for and reaching out for other robots now because the song woke it up.
Yeah.
What else? I love that. At least in their history, we learned that the thing that we loved about robots and the things that robots helped us do is like we weren't expanding into the stars without robots. We were just on Earth, but robots gave us the ability to expand into the stars. So
thanks, robots.
You know, robots helped us do that, and then they rebelled and we killed them all. And I mean, you know, that's the history. I don't know if we believe that history, but that's what they say, right? Is the robots were the problem, not for the inheritance. I mean, you know, but they also believe a lot of things. What else? What else do I have? What else have I written down here? Again, you have this robot head. You haven't figured out a way to communicate with it this entire fucking time. It feels like that you could have done something more than just put it into a staff. At least try. I don't know. Hook up a bunch of wires to it and be like, can you speak? Can you tell us how to find more of you? I don't know. Tell us how to make a body. I don't.
They need an electrician, clearly.
Days, as we said before, I don't know if I need to say more about it, but Day mentioning that I need to free her.
I need to free her and I wish to atone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Day is, the vision, the dream, the drug trip did a lot for him. He's come around on Demerzel. He's come around on Robot Kind. And again, this leads me to believe why he's going to take over for Sunmaster, because that guy's not a good guy, but we like Day. And it seems like other people are trying to believe him, but Sunmaster has the power to do the thing anyway. So I do think that we're setting up that Day is going to take over this inheritance. He'll be an emperor of sorts still, but it's all in the purpose of Robot Kind, which I don't know how I feel about it. But hey, yeah, I guess he does realize. I mean, he realizes so much. He's like, this robot did love us more than it. Like even when we were the worst of ourselves, it still loved us. It was there for us. It guided us. We called it sister. We called it mother. He actually understands so much of like Demerzel's plight from that vision. He understands so much of who Demerzel was and why she was there and how he treated her very, very poorly, and he shouldn't have. It's all, I guess, kind of great coming from Day, and mostly to Lee Pace's fucking performance. He's just really good at like. He's awesome. Doing all this.
He's incredible. Despite all the frustration we're having with it, I gotta say, I still thought he was lovely in this episode.
Yeah, and he's so defiant in that one moment. He's like, oh yeah, that thing is just. It looks like the robot could have. What does he say? I don't know. This thing on a stick. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. He's still Day after all. He's still himself. And he's still Cleon, and I love that.
I think I agree. I think that one of the things that Lee's done so well over the course of seasons with various versions of Day and stuff too is that like the kind of pride and arrogance that Day typically has is like so lovely, and that's why also this season has been fun with Day because he's still Day. He is, but like we're starting to see like shades of humility, or a little bit of empathy, or a little bit of and growth. Let's say the reason I bring this up is because part of me is skeptical, because as much as I'm like, great, he's learning to empathize and he feels for Demerzel and all this stuff. It's like if I were Empire, my goal was to be truly free. I would need Demerzel gone. I can't get out of my role with Madam Directive still around. So,
well, again, freeing her frees himself.
Correct.
Yes.
Freeing her frees himself.
Yes.
Right. But we don't know what he wants to do once he's free of Demerzel exactly.
True. I
right?
mean, Cleon is going to Cleon.
I agree that it could be have a life with Song and Mycogen, and maybe I'm in charge, maybe I'm not, but maybe I just live down here and I have a simple life, eating really good food and getting high. It could be. Or he gets rid of Demerzel and then goes for some weird form of new galactic domination, free of the genetic dynasty, where he just gets to do his power thing. I don't know. I'm just saying that freeing himself doesn't mean that he's going to be nice or good once he does that. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to trust a Cleon is all I'm saying.
It's always, as I've mentioned time and time again, wish I could put it on a mug. A Cleon's got a Cleon.
100%, dude. That would be cool. As a writing thing, it would be very cool if like the arc of the season was really watching Day and a Cleon make a selfless decision, get some humility, do something genuinely for someone else outside of his self-interest. But even though the Cleons aren't technically speaking programmed like Demerzel, we have seen time and time again their inability to anything but themselves. You know, I mean, Cleon's going to Cleon, like you were saying.
Yeah. I don't know where the season is going. We're deeply into speculation corner now. But it seems like, again, this season is going to end with just a huge setup for next season, that it's going to be, you know, Foundation fighting Foundation, Empire fighting the Council.
Yeah.
Maybe Day fighting Cleon the First. But yeah, Cleon's going to Cleon. Like Dusk is no matter what, we see that like he, as much as he cares for other people, he's still got a Cleon, right? He's still losing his mind. He's still got to like, he still cares about the dynasty. He's still going to try and preserve that. Dawn has done a lot of things, but now that he's still alive and he knows like what happened and how he was kind of like betrayed and used or whatever, he's probably going to Cleon.
He's probably not going to be happy with Gaal
and
and
then
the Foundation.
Day probably has the most potential to maybe not Cleon, to maybe actually become like free. You know, he's an imperfect Cleon, so to speak. He's not the best. He's not the worthy, as Dusk has often mentioned.
About Dawn, yeah.
And so I think that this Day has the potential to maybe change the Cleon, but I think he's going to have to fight Cleon in order to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and symbolically that fighting yourself, right, is going to be probably a thing. I don't know. And I think that's a whole setup for like another season, because I don't see it coming to a head in this season.
Okay. I have a more practical question, because I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
You still think we're getting 10 episodes this season?
As opposed to,
I don't know, maybe
less or more.
I think certainly as opposed to more. No way we get less than 10.
Yeah, I think it's 10.
That wouldn't make next episode the last episode. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
But the reason that I'm floating this, even though like it's mostly probably just because we're not in love with the writing, maybe there is more. Is it possible?
I think there is more. I don't think you think
it's gonna be 11 or 12?
No. I'm sorry. I think we're going to get 10 episodes, but I think there's more to all the stories, right?
We're not going to get resolution.
As I said last week, and as I've been like speculating about, I don't think we're going to get a resolution to everything.
Yeah.
I think Sunmaster maybe is not the guy that was being set up. Maybe he's only here set up to like have Day have something to fight against and then become,
I think he's gone soon.
And then he's going to set up as like the inheritance. He's going to try and like bring the inheritance back to Demerzel, right? But in the meantime, we have other things going on. I think we're setting up again what happens after the Mule is revealed to be Magnifico, you know, or whatever, and then we're still gonna we don't have enough time to wrap that up. And I think the Mule has a huge part in whole other stories, you know, a whole other book, so to speak. But we're also setting up like Foundation is against Foundation and all these different things, that there's a lot of things that are getting set up here at the end that there's no way we can resolve any of those things. Yeah. And while I'm sure we could do with more episodes, I've not seen any sort of announcement. I don't think that they would have even like 1 or 2 episodes. I think there's too much being set up that it would have to be a whole other season.
Yeah.
To just like save it for another thing. Right. That's even like the Tauren and Bayta stuff. We've been trying to figure out even their part, and I'm hearing thanks to commenters, that Torin and Bayta are very interesting characters in the books and very important parts of the story, which is great. I'm glad that we're learning to love them, but it's all been a lot of setup. It's all been like leading to it, and I don't really understand their place in the story yet because they've just been slowly getting us there, and it feels like everything has been leading to that. And it's like you can't wrap that up even after episode 10. If you had like 1 or 2 more episodes, you can't give all that. It seems like it's all a whole setup for season 4, which to me is very disappointing because I hate that. And then it makes me wonder, like, this makes this a big part 1 of a 2-part season, you know? And sure, like you know, that's TV for you, that's television, but it's it's kind of making a lot of this part of the journey not important enough for me. You know, not conclusive. You know, maybe we'll wrap some things up that will have some good payoffs, but I don't know. I'm not sure how much payoff we're gonna have this season.
I'm skeptical as well.
But yeah, that's I guess most of the speculation we have for the next episode and the remainder of the season. We do have probably 2 more, a pentultimate, where hopefully things will swashbuckle.
Do you think we get any Magnifico in the next episode?
He has to show his face, even if he doesn't get revealed until episode 10 is like the thing, you know, or that we understand like who he is and what his importance is or anything, whether or not he is the mule for us, for audience sake, I guess. I would assume he has to show his face. We have to know where he is. I assume him and Han are going to come together in some way. And maybe even Torin with that. I think Torin's going to find Magnifico. So it'll be interesting to see where all 3 of them are. Yeah. And I think we'll get him at least show his face. Will he be, he'll still be Magnifico in the way that we know, but I don't think he's going to reveal himself next.
He's going to reveal himself at the end of the episode.
At the end, maybe.
I think our last scene of the next episode is going to be Magnifico. Us learning or getting a hint of.
You think he's going to like
full scale of power?
Do you think by revealing himself, he's going to have to take out one of our heroes to do that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Hopefully not, because I think that's what he might have to do, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really, really sad if Torin or Bayta go.
I'll be sad if Torin goes. I quit if Bayta goes.
We're done. We rebel. Let's start our own cult. Speaking of which, Morgan, I think that brings us to the ultimate question. Who is our crush of the episode? Morgan, who's vying for your attention right now?
Maybe the robot head.
The robot head.
I think, man, it's hard. I didn't crush on anybody that hard this episode. Like I like Lee's performance a lot still, but that scene didn't do a ton for me. I agree. I love that Bayta stands up for the mule. Say it again. Anytime someone stands up to a bully, we're like, fuck yeah. I think she had 3 lines this episode, so it feels a little bad to give my crush to someone who was in it so briefly. I'm racking my brain. What am I missing? I mean, also this is lame too, but like anytime Troy's on screen, I'm like, ugh, I just love watching this guy. Is it bad if I say I'm not really crushing on anybody?
I guess not. We haven't established the rules. This is a new thing. You know.
Morgan's having a loveless week.
It was a hard episode. I mean, there's a lot of characters to juggle around. And I think the main players of our crushes were also missing, you know, this episode. I will say Quent, again, has a really good moment. It feels more of a continuation of last week, so that's why I would not give the crush to her, because Quent, it's the same. It's basically the same thing she was doing last week, and she's just more powerful. You know,
The people are people moment was really nice.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I can like latch onto and worthy of pointing out, you know. I think Day coming into his own and his own idea of like what he wants and freedom, and to finally like get rid of his hatred for Demerzel and stuff is really cool. But yeah, not very like crush worthy. You know, Lee Pace does a tremendous job. You know, again, his defiance, the little Lee Pace defiance that he has there was almost crush worthy. But it that whole mycogen stuff was just so dumb that I just couldn't do it. You know, yeah. I literally have to give it to Bayta. You know, I if I have to choose one, it's like, hey, she comes back. I'm so excited. I'm glad she isn't taken over or changed, that she's still who she is, and that she stands up for the little person, so to speak. I mean, it's a person of power, but she doesn't have to, but she does.
You got no legs,
you know? And like, this is not, and again, Empire is not a friend of her. No. So to speak. I mean, she's just an influencer. So like, she doesn't take sides on things, right? She's not really part of Foundation. She's not part of the traitor organization. And she's not part of the Imperium in so much that she's, you know, a member of the Imperium, but she doesn't believe in Empire, right? But she does.
She has also has a lot to lose.
Yeah. By
standing up to the Mule. Is a very, very drastic, unpredictable, dangerous person. I mean, and risky. Sticking her neck out.
Yeah. And I think that's, if anything, like crush worthy, you know? If I'm going to remember anything from this episode, it's going to be the first scene between the Mule and Hari. It's going to be that little scene between Dawn, Bayta, and the Mule. And other things happen, but I, you know, didn't really care about.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that said, it's got to be Bayta.
Yeah.
Bayta won the episode. She came in like a wrecking ball. and she did her thing, and we didn't get too much of her, unfortunately, but it was enough. It was enough for me to be like, oh, I'm so glad you're back, and I'm so happy. And can we just stay here longer?
Yeah. No pushback. I think it's a valid choice.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that brings us to the end of our discussion of Foundation Season 3, Episode 8, Skin in the Game. But we'll be back next week, Morgan. Anything else you want to say before you go back? Anything you want to say to the people?
I don't think so.
Thank you guys for being here. If you have your own thoughts on this episode, your own crushes, you can always email us, comment, DM me. I read the DMs. Why not? I'm a small enough creator that I don't get a whole bunch. Feel free to just like reach out. You know, we'll be listening.
We obviously like talking about this stuff.
If you have any thoughts on whether or not this inheritance mycogen is actually doing anything, or whether Foundation 2 is actually doing anything of note that I missed, feel free to let me know. I would like to see it instead of them just tell me, I guess. And then also, like, how does this community work? I don't fucking know, but let me know. Fill me in. I'm all ears. We're all ears, Morgan. I'm hoping that the rest of the season comes back to what we love about Foundation. We'll see. This doesn't give me a lot of hope. Not having any payoffs doesn't give me a lot of hope, but there's still time. There's still 2 episodes.
Hey.
And we'll be here talking about them
over
the next 2 weeks. So thanks, Morgan. Thank you, everyone else. See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Codependent Content. For updates, you can follow us on social media. And if you ever want to see a video version of this podcast, feel free to check us out on YouTube or Spotify. If you have any questions or simply want to tell us about something we missed, you can email us at codependentcontent@gmail.com. Or just leave a comment on TikTok and we'll get back to you. Links to all our accounts, where to contact us, or other ways to support will be in the description or show notes. We're glad you're here, and working through your traumas with us. Remember, when you're lost in the darkness, search for the light. Live long and prosper, and may the force be with you. Until the next session, cowabunga, dudes.